Four.
Stop it.
Wait, did spring
Pledge
already
allegiance to the flag,
come?
please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Sir,
How we doing?
I'm doing fine.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Everybody's doing good.
I know, right? How you doing?
I'll let you go first and then I got a bunch of questions for you.
Oh.
Bring the questions on.
Okay.
We've been potholes and that's street signs, and trying to play catch up.
Okay. Fire chief mentioned the culvert on Union School Road.
Yes,
Is that clogged or?
the bottom of it's bent, but I don't know, I wanna say that culvert where it is Sanford, but I'm not. I know there's a section of that road that's Sanford and it's not Lebanon's.
Mhm.
I don't mind changing it, but I think it's Sanford's, I don't think it's Lebanon's.
Do you wanna contact them to see?
Yep. Cause he said he was gonna call Public Works over there when he was up that way, so
Yeah,
he never contacted me back, so I don't know.
okay.
But I know it's not big enough to handle what comes through there. Certain time. Neither was the one we changed one on Baker's Grant,
Well, that's my next question, so you're headed in the right direction. You did change that one up?
all changed, paved, everything done, one whack. Yeah. Shouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah, there was, I don't know, like chunks of wood in it, and it must have put so much pressure that it popped a hole through the top, and that's what blew the road all apart. I just need the time for the water to go down before I can change it. Can't open it up like that.
In
But no,
between
that's all
high and low
changed.
tide?
Yeah.
There would be. Somebody got some water downstream, that's for sure.
you.
But no, that's all, everything's all done.
Thank you. The one up on Sewell's Road?
That
Two
is,
shores?
I don't think, it's just the ditch is so wet,
Is that on the?
but somebody's been driving in it. Somebody, whatever they've been doing, whatever it is, somebody's been in it. So it's just mushed it right up. I'm gonna, Josh will probably go up and we'll open it right up. I think I'll have him ditch all the way down. But there's no culverts on that side, so I don't see why the water would be sitting. So it's gotta be something up above. It's obviously coming off the hill.
Straight off the hill.
From the,
Yeah.
which you're gonna have for. what a
And once it
while.
fills up whatever ditch is there.
Yeah, I mean, it's got quite a ditch on it, but down there in that section, like I said, somebody's been in it. So you can see where they've, drove trucks through it, so but it'll be all cleaned out next week.
I sent you the test results from Maple Estates. I don't know if you had a chance to look at your email and see those or not.
I might have looked at them for a second. This is the one with the 8 house lots?
Yes.
Yeah, 8, 10, yeah,
8, yeah.
8 plus 2.
Yeah, it goes.
Yeah, whatever's going in.
Eight in the subdivision, 2 on the other road.
Yeah, whatever's going in.
Well, the 2 at the end weren't officially part of the subdivision, and they really were.
When,
So it's
okay,
an 8 plus subdivision, but then there's 2 others that are right there. Or maybe it's a 10 lot, I don't know, is it a 10 lot?
I think it's 10 lots and the other 2 made it 12, which was the problem.
yeah, I thought I saw on there it was 8. I know Brownie did the road going in, so I'm sure it's good. So what are we doing with this though?
Well, those are the test results we got back that the board requested, planning
Okay.
board requested, and we requested. Andy LePage looked at the specs and from what he could determine that they were, top coat was fine.
Okay.
And it met specs, but I just wanna make sure you agreed with that.
Yep, I mean, I'll take a run down through it. I mean, I can see they must have cored something just to make sure, but
They did, they caught it twice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a look real quick, but I mean, I'm sure with Brown there, he's got some nice material, so.
Here, steal that one back.
Sure. Mine must be on my phone.
Yes, it is. You wanted to talk to him about the speed sign?
Yep, speed feedback sign, remember that one we got?
Yep,
Think about where, I know you're solid, but just in your list, think about
where we wanna,
where we might wanna put it and.
I would think so, I'm thinking somewhere right out here, so it's kind of something we can use.
Wanna try to use it to slow down people going to the school? Which end? This end or the other end?
I mean, the speed limit signs can't get no bigger right here, but.
Well, think about it, you don't have to have any.
Yeah, all right,
Just-
no, I'm almost thinking from this end, that way it gives them something, because a lot of people, you know, even for
Going across from
using it
Jones.
for, you know, festival or whatever,
Right.
something on there. Write something on it.
Well, I mean, probably before we do that, we probably ought to change out the signs, because it's a school zone, so.
Yeah.
We can.
Make something, yeah, cause I got, CMP's supposed to be coming up to take down some of the trees where the woodpeckers are bending up here, 'cause they're bad.
They were just talking about that. I have
Yeah.
a picture, I saw this, I'm like, what
Yeah.
did that?
Pileated, probably big holes.
They're huge,
Yeah.
they're about this, I'm like,
That's the pileated woodpeckers.
they're big. My sister said she saw them, they're huge.
Oh, they,
Yeah, I've never seen a
Yeah.
pole that big though, I mean, it's a little, this thing is,
they find a rotted tree, they're going for it.
wow. I was shocked at how big the holes were.
Yeah,
So we just need to find a place to put it.
Yep.
Otherwise, the state's gonna want it back.
yep, nope, we'll put it,
But I don't know, I mean, you're booked, but just.
No.
Don't worry.
Never too busy.
never. Crazy.
The only thing was the
crazy.
railroad
What caught
crossing.
my eye was this. I'm like, who else?
Yep,
Trying
I was
to
gonna-
get the trees
Ah,
down,
Yeah, we
I
can
went,
bring that up, I have
what
that.
did that?
It's crazy.
It was amazing.
Center Road, 45 mph, when you do signs, can you
Yeah.
think about,
Swap that over,
you
yeah.
got 35s there now, you can swap.
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
35s in there.
We can go a little faster now, is
Yeah,
that right?
they're working on, yeah, they're just,
I know.
everybody's on, yeah.
Except you can't, cause,
Stop sign, Mercy Pro, is that up there yet? It
And
wasn't this morning.
so, maybe today, I gotta go back up through anyways and get rid of the compactor from, I've had it on the back of the truck for too long. So,
Stop sign where?
Merchants Road,
somebody
Merchants and Jim Grant
decided to
coming up. It
head
was,
into the ditch,
it was flattened or whatever, and
yeah.
so actually, that day I noticed that somebody just went straight through it. Stop sign, boom, that's what.
oh.
I mean, they had to have got,
Turning back is out.
they had to have got hung up in that guy's driveway. I saw the marks, I'm like, wow.
So, paving bids? Where are we with that?
Yeah,
Is that on
that's,
yours?
that,
Yeah, Frankie Carroll, I'm waiting on to get for his price on everything, so, talked to Brock's, I gotta get a hold of him again. Brock said, thinking about going in, but obviously I've got the other guy from FR Carroll, whatever, that Frank sold out, part, whatever, however it works, but he's got all the oddball materials to work with. Frank's got the hot top and
Oh, did he sell some of his business?
just, yeah, but I mean, from what I've gathered out of it.
Yep.
I only got bits and pieces, so. I like to keep myself in there and nose in,
Yeah.
find what's going on.
Yep, nope, I don't blame you.
but we do need some quantities, so we can put that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, and I'm hoping, cause I mean, we went around town, me and Frank did, so I marked a lot of stuff just to kinda get an idea what we can do, what we can't do, pieces. Try to get rid of bad spots,
I noticed a few of those.
but, yeah, plenty of them.
Hmm.
Yep.
Hey, That was off my list, I'm glad you mentioned it, thank you. The only one I had left was the grant for the culverts, stream crossing. I think they gave that to him a month ago.
Yeah. You probably didn't see it.
Probably.
This DEP's got it's for major stream. Will they really help? I'm not sure whether there's anything there that's.
Yeah, funny, the risk of flooding every time it rains. Trying four, I don't know, I guess I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotta be.
June 3rd.
What's this, just to get culverts or to replace a lot of these?
You're around tomorrow?
Yep,
I'll be here tomorrow.
okay.
Want to talk about it?
Yeah.
We'll dig into it tomorrow.
Wanna hold on to that now, or you can show us?
Well, I got it. I'll print it.
I'll be on Gordon Road tomorrow.
Still sinking in, or is that?
Nah, it's not bad.
Is it all dried out?
No, I think we're doing good. Might be some good material going up there tomorrow, but we'll get it.
Reading and packing, or just?
I'm gonna use the loader just tomorrow, just to get everything, we gotta add more material to them anyway. And then we're gonna end up ditching it and cutting some serious trees to get some light in there. Gotta,
Try to avoid this year's problem next year.
yeah. Yeah, we'll nip it now and not have to worry about it next year.
See Depot Road there, hopefully
They're
that.
doing good. Yeah, I stopped and talked to
That's
them.
gonna take care of that issue that we have.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
They're doing a really good job along that
Very.
thing.
Yeah, they'll be, I don't know, they're almost to Heath Road. I don't know if they made it by it today or not. You noticed?
I don't know, I didn't
I
notice.
went this morning and they were at Heath Road. so-
They were?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean,
Signed a couple things here too.
there's a lot of that they have to get rid of, but they're changing everything that's, so I mean, they're doing,
They put a lot of riprap in and all sorts
Very.
of stuff.
Yeah.
027.
that's what we did on Baker's Grant too for that one.
Yep.
Tom Potter wanted to keep the pond kind of, so we just kind of bermed it with riprap and kept his pond, but let it just keep. So I mean, it looks good, come out nice.
Okay, that's all I have.
I don't have anything.
You're off the hook.
All right? Yes.
Oh, wait.
Scott, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate all the hard work you've been doing lately.
Thank you.
And, easiest road commissioner I've ever had to work with, one call and you're right out there, you got the potholes filled, trash picked up.
We tried.
And, no, I'm telling you, I worked with a lot of people in this town, and it's one of the easiest and one of the most pleasant. And I just want to tell you that, I appreciate you and I'll tell everybody I can because you've been fantastic.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
On that note,
Thank you.
I'm outta here.
How's it going? Anyone?
As he leaves the trail.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from the public right now?
I should ask him to come fix Creamer Hill Road. That beginning section.
We'll jump down to, it looks like everybody's here for the 4x4 mass banner gathering permit.
Yeah.
Get his paperwork all sorted out.
Getting there, yes, sir.
You need a couple more minutes?
Nope.
I gave him a chance, remember that.
I know, right? Actually did get the campground permit.
Yep, right there.
Yep. And that's a
Making
race
sure I got
permit.
everything, and then the rest of that.
This one, yes,
I think
that-
that has its own.
It does, yeah. Okay.
Alright,
Yay.
this is, the application for mass gathering, which is
Yeah, he was chairman.
Oh, all right.
We're sharing.
Okay, all right, all right.
That's okay, we're good.
The only thing that isn't in there right now currently is the proof of insurance, and I just got my email from her. Which we're all approved and ready to go. It just says thanks for the request. Unfortunately, the carrier is out of the office, and we'll send it in the morning, so we can just forward that to you in the morning.
We are officially changing insurance companies, right?
Yeah, so we went through the process because their carrier wouldn't even talk to us until the 15th, so
Right.
we really gotta do this now, so.
Right, they wait till the last moment.
It's the same one that we use for Snowbog that I've used for 15 years, so, well, 14.
It's not Uncle Jimmy.
No.
Yeah.
And then that's the diagram that shows where everything is for us now. Porta Johns are on there, medical's on there, the dumpster location, the BYOB sections. I got that application right here as well. So along with the insurance, if you notice on our race permit, it still says Snowbog. He's gonna come out and re-inspect us with the thing, but the dating on it, we're good for the year. But he's gonna just put Mudbog on it.
There was snow.
Yeah,
So
so-
yeah, he couldn't really inspect it with all the snow.
And he can sign it off once he sees the insurance paper too, so. I was prepping for next week, but I guess you guys all have like a field trip or something you're going on, right? So. Okay, additional.
Yeah, I just need you to
So, I have that for you, actually.
Wait.
Look at me go.
Oh, look at you go.
I know. Well, we can just give that info to Beth and that's what I do. And right now, we won't have any problem with mud out there. Got plenty of it.
No kidding. Oh my goodness.
We're praying for some sunshiny weather.
A little bit of wind,
Yeah, a lot of it.
a lot of bit, yeah, dried up a little bit.
I need to refer to you two, because you went through this last year, so. What's missing?
Alright,
You have the camping, which is your septic has been inspected, correct? That's the.
Yeah, we have a dump
we have a
station.
dump station.
You have a dump,
Yeah.
so that's the camping one, right? Right.
Yeah, that's the
You
camping.
inspect that when they do that, yeah.
Yep, he actually comes over, looks at it.
Yep. I don't think. And he's got the BYOB, so I think that's.
Yeah, I'm just finalizing my zip codes and stuff, I didn't know them.
I think the only question is, are we doing all three events, or are we doing it individually?
I thought it was gonna do individually.
Right.
We originally talked that way.
I thought we were, yep.
Well,
Well, that's the issue.
well, I would like to, with this process that we keep coming in for and stuff, and with the new wording on the, if you guys are gonna go forward with the application as it's presented to us, we don't have enough time in between events. I run events all over the country, I'm, right out straight with this stuff, so scheduling in time with you guys is, I appreciate it that you guys let us come in when you do. But everything else is for the year, the insurance is for the year, the permit from the state is from the year, the BYOB is for the year, the race permit and the camping ground. So I don't know why this.
BYOB is not for the year, the BYOB is for an event.
Correct, but they do we put all 3 dates on there and we have it's for the year. The one that we got for
Because the
snow.
event is at the same location.
Huh?
The event is at the same location for the same
Right.
thing. So
So-
if you add your dates,
The only reason that we need to do one again is because I was a different entity doing the snowbog. I was Vermont's the 4x4 putting on an event at their property. Now I'm just Randy running their property for them at this event. So once we reapply, it's good for all the dates that we list for them.
because what happened with Snowbog was we got the okay from you guys, and so the permits say like at least 24 hours you can submit your permit. I submit it and the lady at the state of Maine's like, this is completely unacceptable that you're sending me this because you have to pay by check, but you can't get a check there in 24 hours. So she's super upset that we're sending an application at,
Right.
so she said as long as the event's always the same, at the same location, same function, she said as long as you put the dates on there, that's all they're looking for, because we're not having an event here and then having an event here. They're all being held at the same thing. They're just saying, if you have to have a permit, they will do it in 24 hours, but they don't appreciate this.
Could you furnish them with the woman's name from the state and her number?
Marlene, right?
I do have everything at home that we can provide. I can give you her email and everything.
Yeah, cause the last time where it was so under the wire, she actually gave her personal cell phone and said, if you need help tonight, give us a call and we'll get it through, so. Yeah, so everything else is for the year, so we would love to just apply for the year and,
All good.
yeah.
But what happens if there's issues, so again, this BYOB is new, so what happens, you have an event and there's all this underage drinking, which is one of the reasons that that's the only concern that I have personally. We've already given you a permit to do exactly the same way for the next event and the event after, there's no,
Well,
we can obviously say something to you, but the town has already given you a permit to hold the next events, even though, so how does that?
and I understand that. What I'm gonna say is that I've been doing this for 15 years, I plan on doing it for 15 more, I'm not gonna ruin the event over a couple of kids wanting a drink, we're gonna fix it if there's a problem. And if you guys want to address it to us publicly, we'll be more than happy to let you know how we're gonna handle it or fix it if there was a problem to be fixed. I think we've got a really good handle on it now, after talking with the state, and we fencing off certain areas and we're carding people and, our security guys actually just went through a course in New York, where they're legal for, it's crowd management training, security guard training, Orion security school training, they're CPR certified. And these are all federal certificates and they just got fingerprinted and everything for it, so they're in the system. That's 2 of our guys out of the 4, and then we've got the main state ones here as well.
Thank you.
I've also got Marlene's phone number if you want that. That's,
Do you wanna put that on video though?
yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give that,
Says 40.
good thing, I forget that we're on that, yeah.
This says 60.
Yeah, again, I'd go by the ordinance is the issue.
It is we don't have enough time in between the events to.
Well,
Not
14
for 60 days.
No, for 14 days, which is what I said, you have to go by the ordinance.
Okay, cause this says
Just 14 days.
Right.
60 days and
Yeah.
they don't have time for that.
Right.
Yes.
Right, and I feel like if that's the new policy, and 60 days out is,
No, it's not.
I know it's not officially,
Right,
right? but that's what's on the paperwork, and that's what most communities use, so that they do have time to prepare for all this stuff, and I get that. I've always had like that 30-day out kind of thing, and again, the May events were always the problem for both of us, because of where our insurance binder for the year starts.
They won't bind you until just before the event.
You know, so I just feel like everything else is for the year. This should be as well, I mean, but.
And haven't we in the past always come in afterwards to chat if there were issues, right? We've sat down here with the state police, we've sat.
I have a question. Chip, do you know if they ever charged that mother that was furnishing the alcohol to her son at the event to the point where he passed out?
Don't know.
I feel like my feet are being held in fire. I
Right.
didn't furnish him that alcohol. I didn't anything. I did see the cruisers come in thick and deep, and it was reported to me by Officer Trooper, what was it, Connor Walton, yeah. That somebody called in an overdose, which made my head spin, because I really don't wanna run a shooting gallery or anything like that. Come to find out, it was an off-duty South Portland police officer there who let the state police know that the mother was furnishing the alcohol to the 18-year-old to the point where he passed out and was drooling, foaming. whatever.
So we get, we get held, like he said, our feet to the fire for that. If we had seen it going on, we would have stopped it, but.
Right, and we've addressed
Yeah.
everything as it happens, and been commended by the few times that we had to have the police come in to handle
Right.
something. They commend the way we do it. And like last year when we had an incident, that guy was charged. He was charged for all of his activities.
How did that end, Brenda? I know you were called.
I don't know, I got subpoenaed to the court, and it was postponed, so it could be next week that I have to go back in and be subpoenaed again.
And that's just so we can like, be
Tell them
witnesses on
what
our side of
happened,
it,
right, give our side of the story,
So,
but,
but he was charged criminally for his activities.
right, leaving the scene of an accident.
We contained the situation, the police came, did their investigation, found us to be
Right.
like
Not even,
doing our job,
Right.
you know? It's the same thing I go through with my insurance company, safety is our number one priority, always has been, always will be.
didn't you have to take pictures
Yep.
to get today, yeah? They like pictures.
It's just signatures for the state police.
They won't sign it,
And again, they won't sign
they
it.
won't sign it.
So again, that initial form was a draft form because we really didn't have a decent form that I was working on, and so it was the checklist. The part of the back was kind of following the ordinance, the sign off, so we had something that we could have, so that this board, that we reviewed. As of right now, I don't think the state police would sign off on it. Just partly because we don't have, again, we'll see if the event with his security team that he has there, and we'll see what kind of stuff happens. They might, but they don't feel that there's enough coverage. It's primarily because we don't have a police force in town. So,
They won't.
Right, I mean, they,
Right.
yeah,
And they say they don't have enough people to
even if there
provide
wasn't
us
an event.
somebody
they don't
that's
have enough.
stationed there, but when there's a problem, there'll be 5 of them there, you know what I mean, like,
Right.
so,
Right.
well,
And that's
they're being
good.
a little bit more proactive by being a little bit more present, I believe, at the snow bog, there was
Yeah.
people around even at the last event last summer.
and the game warden, or what do you call him here? Is
Yeah.
it probably a game warden still, but, he's the main guy, he's on the TV and all that, he came by, he thought it was a great
He
event.
stopped.
He actually stopped me on the trail later snowmobiling this
Brenda,
year.
I believe you
and,
invited him on the property, right?
I did, he
said, "Why
actually
can't
pulled
I
into my
come?"
driveway, and I
No.
went out and said, can I help you? People just pulling in.
So, while they might not sign off on it, they are supportive of the way we're doing it at least.
No, I think the biggest concern has been the underage drinking.
Right.
And that's been indicated by the medical calls that our crews go over there. So police aren't necessarily seeing it as much as, but it's the medical calls for that. that happened, so.
Again, the one call, that I'm aware of for the alcohol for medical, there was two. One of them is that court case with the guy with the ATV. And that was handled, they charged him criminally. And then the other one was the underage drinker, which is the one his mom was over serving him. And again, like.
So there's no other underage drinkers there? Come on.
Hey,
Yeah, you could have underage drinking at your campgrounds.
Right, you could have underage drinking at your house,
Do
you
you
could
have
have,
public parks here in Lebanon?
you have underage drinking at the parks, underage drinking at the ball
I mean,
field.
Do you have any public areas?
Ball fields,
Yeah, there's plenty of public areas.
okay.
I just wondered if there's any drinking going on there or shooting heroin or.
It's not a private event.
This
Yeah,
isn't very private either, see, we seem to be very much public and we.
No, you have a private event, you charge a cover fee.
Yeah,
Well, then we'll
that's-
charge a camping fee and
But
we'll,
my point is that's what the law says. It's not what I say, the law doesn't say.
What does the law say, that we have to card them?
No, the law says that you're not allowed to have underage drinkers.
right, and we're making all the proper steps for it,
Right.
and it worked at Snowbog, and we had people in that area corralled, like,
Right, so,
segregated from their friends, right on the other side of the fence,
Right.
but we made it work. So.
And that's fine, I mean, I'm just
Right.
saying, but that's, this isn't the town, this is the state law.
I get it, but you're expressing concern about underage drinking, and we're telling you that it was prevalent, we fixed it, and, I mean,
I don't know what else you want us
yeah,
to do.
I don't,
You fixed it at the snowball,
correct, we,
but that was a fairly small event, correct?
well, we
Yeah,
could
it
fix
was
it, we haven't
actually-
had any other events
Well,
since.
I guess that's right, I guess that's right.
Yeah,
right, this is
so-
all new policy, so.
You're attempting to fix it,
Yeah.
and I totally understand that, but you
Yeah.
haven't, we don't know yet whether that.
So we started with a day event,
Right,
treated well,
I guess
went
what are
well.
you getting at, and what would you like from us, or what would you suggest, or
Nothing at
what are we,
this, nothing at this point.
okay? So this is just discussion, or,
Again, I don't,
Well, this is part of the concern why we're not comfortable authorizing 3 events without knowing how this one's gonna go.
one goes.
but you'll let the campgrounds, I'm sure there's underage drinking at the campgrounds. Lebanon has more campgrounds in town than any other town in the
that's
state of
not,
Maine.
that's not governed by this.
It's
Yeah, but
not-
we
the
have a
campgrounds aren't
campground
governed, we
permit.
have a campground permit, we are a
It's not
campground,
governed by this.
but we are a campground,
Yes,
okay, so.
in your campground, you can do whatever you want. That fall under the, but your
So-
whole property is not a campground.
But the
So,
problem
you're
is
holding
the
an
guy.
event.
But it actually is according to the campground permit.
Yeah,
yeah, it doesn't specify,
It says the entire
Right.
parcel is the
It- it
campground, so,
doesn't- right.
yeah, yes, I
Campground is
understand that
holding
there's,
the
we're
campground
having
is
an
holding
event there
an
too.
event that charges a cover,
Yeah.
which is what you guys are doing.
Okay.
And you have to follow the BYOB. But if
we
somebody
charge
is,
camping.
And we
but
are,
well,
this could be a very slippery,
I'm just saying, take it up with the state. This is what the state is.
but you're
told us, so.
asking us to do things that you're telling us that doesn't pertain, we are a campground. So if you're not making the other campgrounds in town follow the
The
same.
campgrounds are not holding an event,
They don't hold events at these campgrounds, not at all?
not with a cover fee like you are.
Okay,
so if we change.
the tattoo conventions and.
So we
let's see what
change our
else.
cover fee, our cover fee is now,
A camping fee.
you come camp for
and the entertainment's for
Friday night,
free.
Saturday night, and Sunday night, and you book what campsite you want. Now there's no cover fee, you're now camping and you choose a campsite.
And we
Well,
throw,
if you wanna control the campers versus the general public, then I suppose that's a different story.
But Brenda could be camping and I can go visit her for the day and get charged $10 to visit her.
yeah,
So the bottom line
Exactly.
is, hey, you
know
know,
about that.
I'm not
And we're
gonna.
not trying to argue
Whatever
with you
you-
at all,
No,
we're just trying to abide by what you guys.
Whatever you wanna do to try to avoid following the law is up to you.
no, it's
No,
not
we're not trying to
that.
avoid
You're
the
asking,
law, no.
we want the permit for the 3 events. You're telling us, no, you're only gonna do 1 because you're afraid something's gonna happen at that one and then we're gonna come back for the second and you're gonna say, no.
Well, the problem is, as you know, or might not know, on June 11th, we're electing more selectmen. That's the problem.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So us
So
three.
what does that
can
have to do with us, though? We're still,
Well, it's just that we're gonna okay 3 events, if we do. And then there'll be new selectmen on June 11th who might
So we gotta retrain the new selectmen.
Well, no, I think.
I mean-
No, I'm just saying, that's the only concern I have if we go and say, yep, you can do this all summer, your 3 events and
So
then.
you can't, so in other words, from now until they get elected, you cannot sign off on anything.
No, that's not what I'm saying. My concern is,
Well, what if something else happened and you said, well, we got 3 selectmen, new ones coming in, I can't sign off on that. So you're gonna hold that to us, but you won't hold it to any other stuff that's going on in town?
I didn't say that.
No, you didn't say, that's what you're alluding to, though. That's what you're
Well,
alluding to.
that's just my feeling because that's just how I kind
Yeah.
of, I'm not against any of this.
No, and that's
not my
fine.
point.
No,
What
It's just
about
that
a
we-
compromise that we do the first 2 events, and the 3rd event, then you guys, and that'll give you plenty of time to come in for the 3rd event.
Either that or put some kind of contingency on it. It would seem to me, from where I'm sitting over here in the cheap seats, that you're gonna have yourself a full house. Would you say 2 more, 3 more selectmen?
3.
3 more, okay.
Well, it's gonna be a board of 5.
Could we take this burden and responsibility off of their shoulders? I understand where you're coming from. You're not gonna give us the keys to the damn city and let us run amok. I get that. But can we do something as far as what the paperwork that we have submitted you find adequate? We've only been doing this for 11 years.
Right.
If there's a problem, good God, I don't wanna run a problematic company.
Shut it
Can
down
we
in a
put a caveat
heartbeat.
on it? In other words, barring any major problems.
And you gotta define major problems, though. I
Well,
mean, it's,
something that they say
Yeah.
to us, we have a problem.
And again, it won't be me, because I won't be back.
right.
It'll be these 2.
Okay, well,
Well, then 3 other people.
And 3 other people, So my point is that,
Maybe it'll be me.
well, they can certainly explain what we did here today. And that the intention was to sign off on the 3rd one as long as there were no problems, or as long as all problems had been addressed.
I find your compromise awesome.
You know what I'm saying, and then.
I'm comfortable with that as well, if you're willing to sign off on the 2, with the contingency that the 3rd one, as long as there's no major issues that we wanna discuss as a group.
And again, I mean, it's, because you already have everything, it should be fairly simple, but it would make sense, it brings the other 3 board members up to speed on your event.
But it doesn't overwhelm.
But it doesn't overwhelm them, and it doesn't, you know what I'm saying, they can ask their questions, and you have basically all summer to get in front of the board before your last summer event. But that way you don't have to rush to get in for the July event or whatever the middle event is.
July.
I mean, I'm just,
Yeah, no, that sounds
Well,
awesome.
we got 3 members on our board here too, so if you're cool with that, I'm cool with that, and.
I'm cool, we got 4.
We got 4, yeah, well, she does all my stuff.
That's all right, she's a member.
That's why I'm organized this time.
Should turn into a democracy.
We want nothing more than everybody to be safe, everyone to just have fun, and we totally wanna abide by whatever we have to.
Right.
Because we don't wanna be known as, they just wanna cut corners, or we just want everyone to have fun and be safe.
And again,
And like, we want families there, we don't want,
and I know I come across as a hard ass, and I'm not trying to be, I've been to the event.
Swears on video all the time.
Okay. I like the event, but, we get feedback about the underage drinking, that's the biggest issue that we hear, at this end of the table. And so, that's, and so how does that?
Just wanna make sure there's no selective enforcement.
Right.
Well, and again, there are small events that happen that may not fall under the mass gathering ordinance that still require, if it's an event, they charge a cover, they still require a BYOB permit signed off by the town. If they do it without one, okay, they're violating state law.
Oh, then there's a lot of violations going on.
And I'm not,
Then they pay their $20 fine and they don't
Right,
worry
call it
about
good.
And the point is that that's a state issue. We could report them, neighbors can report them, whatever, but if the state doesn't do anything, and the state doesn't even have a liquor commission anymore, they got rid of that a long time ago. So the Maine State Police have a hard time with it. So because yes, you're right, there are other events that go on in town, smaller events, that charge covers, that there's underage drinking in. I know them, I know some of them anyways, okay, and yeah, they're supposed to be coming to the town for.
The term, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. Like I said, I'd love to work with you, I've been working in this town for.
I get it, I get it, and you know.
As I said, I'm patting you on the back. What did you say? You're a hard? I'm patting you on the back, because I think you're, way out of this for both of us, all of us as fair.
He's leaving, he's,
For both, you know what I mean? If there's a problem,
He's a
we'll
writing
back up.
candidate, I'm
Right.
the one for you.
oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, he just doesn't tell anybody.
oh, wouldn't you just about
Not
crow
yet.
give it?
So, alright, I'll shut up now.
In the previous one, we had a checkoff sheet for all these items that are listed, and that's not included here. Is that something that you decided that we don't need anymore? Or just leave?
I didn't decide anything.
See,
Yeah,
that's a
might be an
different one,
That's a whole different, yeah,
I think
that's the old one,
Well, that's the only one here, but I also want.
but that's the only one that's on record.
An
Isn't
older
it?
one. It was in the pile. It was in the,
Was it in the pile?
no, it was in the, no, she doesn't have it.
No.
The file that we pulled out today had the old one in it.
Oh.
They had a checkoff sheet saying what was gonna be used for water, what was gonna be used for.
We can get two that don't like it.
Didn't she have,
Don't like it.
she normally just copies what she's had in the past.
You didn't, last time I did that.
Brenda, you didn't copy what you've done in the past?
Oh, yeah, that was that one right there. I thought that was that one right there. The date on that is 1/18/19, right? 2019.
But it wasn't included in this package.
It's for the
No,
snowball.
because they.
Oh, that's for the snowball? No, I thought
This
I,
is for the snowball, but there's one that you always.
This is what you
That's-
gave.
Right, that's the new one that Chip had me send to you to fill
Right, but I
out.
thought you had
you
a,
had the new one. I have the other one, the one that we always fill out. I have that
Right.
one. Yeah. This was specific to the snow bug, you're
Yeah.
right.
Nice, but.
I thought you used to have,
Yeah, we had a
That-
map,
that
then you
covered-
gave us the other one.
the color map you already had.
But the three events is not.
But then you gave him the other application to fill out.
Right.
Right, but that doesn't have, so it has all of this that you're supposed to do, right? Standards, you know,
But
to
which
show,
one?
but yours does that, is my point.
Yes, yes, I was gonna
So in other words,
say,
you don't have to redo it,
Okay.
yours already
Just-
does it,
I'll
but we
give you
don't
a
have that, right?
copy
Right, but
of
it wasn't,
that.
it wasn't in this
Right.
package.
Copy.
What was it we were looking for?
It's the other, the one that we always.
You know what I'm asking
Thick
for.
one.
Brenda, you know what I'm
Yep,
asking.
yep. Mass gathering paperwork. Yeah, not much has changed, except for the number of porta potties, I up it every, yeah, cause it, yeah,
So she'll send over a sheet that has all that.
yeah, we'll just email it.
Yeah,
We.
that, you know,
It's
that's,
done that.
well, that's why I saw
Right.
it in the file. That's what you used to have.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you changed something, if you required.
No, I mean, that's why it's explained, but however they explain all those bullet points, they can do it any way they want. Her, what she's done in the past does that.
Has each
Yeah,
question
that's fine.
and then the answer, so, yeah, it works out pretty good.
And I think the map also,
Yeah, the map is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it is. It's just, some of the details aren't here on the map that we,
Yep.
that are questioned here.
Yes,
Yeah, as far as the,
I fill holes.
yeah,
as far as the facility, there's never been issues with the facility and.
no, as far as water or, yeah, no, never. So,
Between codes and everybody going there and fire, I mean, yeah, so there's never been.
So they have to go there before we sign this, correct? Codes and fire, don't they?
We can get,
Not for the-
they don't have, in the past, they haven't because if it's too soon, it's not set up. So what do they,
Right.
there's no porta potties, it's not,
Yeah.
so a lot of times they'll go right before the event, once it gets done this, to do a double check. But that's, you know what I'm saying, so
yeah, it's kind of a double check to come in and make
at
sure.
this
that
point, with
everything's
this particular event, at this point, it's kind of a moot point because everything's already happened. So they could sign that and then just do a walkthrough right before the event.
and we do have, I did chat with Steve earlier this week, the chief, and we're already scheduled, he's got the EMS and the fire gonna be there for all of the events, and, you know, we position them in the same spot, in a little grassy, shady spot.
Yep,
They
they're all
can see the
happy.
track, and then, you know, everybody basically who comes into the facility has to go by them, so everyone sees where they're located, so. And again, they're marked on the map there too with the red crosses.
if you wanna confer with them, that's fine, I mean, that's.
No, the only thing I was just, when I looked at underneath the, conditions, if we grant it, we can put that down as a requirement that they do the
Yep.
review.
Yep.
Prior to the event. Then the only thing missing is the sheet that you're gonna put
And I'll
on.
grab those.
I don't have anything. I said, again, I didn't get the experience that you guys got from it last year, so rely on both of you.
And it's evolving, I mean, every event, we don't have a ton of events here in town, so I mean, but every event is gonna be different.
And we don't mind being the standard for everybody else to have to follow, as long as everybody else has to follow it.
Yeah.
That's
The problem is there's not a lot of big events that require a mass gathering ordinance,
correct.
that's, so.
Well, the other thing too is I don't get emails from the state police on the other events. I do get them from you when you hold yours. If they find somebody driving erratically down the road,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you get fingered.
Right.
Yeah,
Guilty or not, you get
Right,
fingered, you know?
we tell
Even if they
everybody
just
to-
left trains.
Right, it doesn't matter,
I
right,
realize that,
exactly.
you know, just because
Yeah.
their event's going,
Right,
they automatically.
right, they could be 5 miles down the road in Sanford.
Isn't there a
It's
bar
our-
right across the street from?
Yeah, and it's our fault,
Right.
right.
I know, but the email here,
Yeah.
your name pops up.
I know
As
what
long
it
as-
is, it's gonna be
I mean,
caffeinated.
if they have a
Dunkin' Donuts
wristband
is
on,
right
they're
down the
probably
street.
ours, you know?
So we're putting an elevated walkway from your place to Dunks, cause we know that.
Dunks, oh
Yeah,
my
that-
goodness.
Well, you can't complain, we do make, everybody in
A
town
little
does
bit
make
of
money
money,
when the events
right.
go on, right?
Oh, I was talking about rumor and accusation. Somebody told me that I was a Massachusetts masshole and had come up here and
Yeah.
off all the land. I says, I'm gonna be 55 in September. I'm a proud graduate of Newt High School in Milton, New Hampshire. Right.
Graduating class of 40.
Alright, no, I'm the masshole.
Yeah, he's the best.
Maybe it was you they were talking about.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I would give Dunks a heads up though, just, I'm
Yes,
Finn is
we
probably
always
aware,
do.
Finn is probably aware of
Dunks,
it.
The
Trains.
manager actually reached out to me,
Right, right.
already, and, just kind of, like, for Snowbog, wanted to know what we felt like for attendees, what time they come and this and that, and I says, I don't think you're gonna see a big flux this time, because they're gonna stop at the other one on the way in, and I says, but now that they know you're here, and that we
Right.
have the morning crowd that'll be able to come over, I'd get some extra beans.
I'd bulk up, I'd bulk up in the morning.
Yeah, cause everyone's fighting over the breakfast sandwich at trains.
Right. What do you mean there's none left?
So where do we go from here?
I make a motion to approve the mass gathering for those first two dates, whatever the dates are there.
May 24th to the 26th and July 12th to the 14th. I'll second it.
All in favor? Depending on the
July
unanimous.
12th.
Right, and I'll,
You'll get this in, yeah, the 24th to the 26th and the 12th to the 14th.
I'll forward you the insurance binder, probably tomorrow, when I get it. I'm gonna hit the road, I got an event in New York to run this weekend, so.
Just get to cross that date off, the third date.
Yeah.
Initial it, so.
And I'll do this, well, we're gonna still go forth with the way we're doing the BYOB, this'll,
Whether you use it,
Dictate
yeah,
that.
yeah,
in the end of it, okay?
Cause if you don't give us that, we
Right.
won't need that.
right.
So that's
We'll
that,
put down pending.
right. And then I'll need your signature on the backside of that, the inside page of that as well, that's the BYOB. And we provide them the same.
Yeah, we probably did that in reverse, but that's okay.
Right.
Yeah,
So I will need one copy of that map I gave you though, back, so I can send it to the BYOB.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
You guys want meatloaf tonight? Cause 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's what I did there.
Sometimes.
Whoa.
Did I hear disapprove?
You leave one kid at home and you
Right,
still.
you take another.
Is it Paradise Bowl the dashboard lights next? Or
Yeah, really.
9-inch nails closer to God?
2 out of 3.
Right. Yep.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
It's not in color.
I know.
Do you need it in color?
I
I know.
can scan, if I can scan it to you tomorrow and email it.
That would be wonderful,
Okay.
yeah.
And then that
We
would
do
be.
need it in color.
If you,
Unless you wanna keep it black and
if you
white.
just,
Send it to you.
yeah, send it to, yeah.
Okay. Send it to Bethany.
Don't send it to Randy.
No.
He's up on his phone, he's going, I don't know how to print this, what do I
Where's
do
the
with
print button?
it? Where's the print?
It won't open automatically, so we won't even know.
Oh, this is true, you're right.
Was Randy the guy that
Doesn't open.
voicemail as a setup?
Yeah. How many of those I get in a day?
I keep pressing print on my phone and nothing happens.
Nothing happens. Some printer out in New York's going.
I believe it. I have one too.
That way she can put a whole package together.
Just wanna do this right now.
Funny.
Just sign the damn thing, Paul.
Well, no, the top part of it,
David,
God, come on.
I trust my clerk.
yeah, living in York County on the state.
County of York.
Second, May 2nd.
May 2nd, 2019. Municipal officers.
And again, I appreciate your time and heated discussion.
Yeah.
When is the election? Next week?
He wishes. He was hoping yesterday.
He's got his bags already packed. What are you talking about?
June 11th.
Boxes, look at him.
June 11th.
June 11th.
When the emperor just abdicated.
Yeah.
You can't have those rolling eyes behind them glasses, do you?
I did not.
The thought was there though.
I'll take a look later.
Yeah, it's on
Don't
tape.
worry, they do. If I do this or that or whatever, yeah, I get called out on everything.
Crazy. Yep, you have to have pretty thick
I
skin.
used to watch
Make sure to
Alan
come vote.
Does he do 2 briefcases?
I'm not running.
Running.
Betty,
Rates going
Harris
up.
Howard,
Betty Harris Hard, yeah, okay.
Chuck Russell, Kruna.
I just do that. Sorry. David White, I don't know who David White is.
So we're all good, we just need a copy.
Cause you know there's a couple,
Yeah, cause we need.
Did you need the original back?
More than 1, 2 years.
Probably.
BYOB, yeah.
so you're gonna elect 3 out of those 4.
Right in,
3 out of those 4.
yeah, 2 for 3 or 1 for 2. Messed up myself, but yeah.
That would be interesting. You should see the puppies.
I did.
That's right, you should see them.
He says, so what one are we taking?
Cooper said that?
Yeah.
I like
He was
that.
on the floor, Brenda.
Bethany.
I like that little one that was so friendly to
I'm
me.
telling
Oh my god, I love it up.
that little face.
He's right.
And they're all hanging out on him.
Did I put in your
I
thing?
think so, is it 429 or
Yes.
something? Yes, I believe.
This is the latest one.
Is that the piece?
So you know.
It's the band.
That's the one I like, it's so wicked
I
friendly.
held the one you're getting.
That's the same.
So she's chill too.
Very chill. And then we have the one that acts just like
For
my first Frenchie Missy.
free, remember,
Oh, crap.
because we took that.
I didn't, okay, good catch.
Okay.
That's so cute. I told you my granddaughter got one, right?
You did, yes, that's so cool.
Her name is Lola.
Lola.
About, I make a motion to approve the BYOB permit.
I'll second it.
Oh, baby.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now it's official.
Yay.
Laura. Okay.
So I'll email that over.
All right, so
Everything to Bethany.
yeah,
Yes.
Interested.
and we'll get you the attorney's binder as well as her
I'll get that, yeah.
detailed thing that you were
I have
requesting
a
there.
class in the morning, but I can do it, I'll try to do it before I go.
All right, and for those of you watching at home, thank you.
Thank you, have a nice
If you
night.
think we're entertaining,
Oh, that phone number?
tune into
We don't
Discovery
need-
Channel.
We don't need that. We
BYOB?
don't need it.
We're here till Thursday. Oh, wait, it is Thursday.
Okay, I'm-
As the 4x4 wheel turns.
Oh,
No,
to be
we're-
continued.
No, it's gonna be a show called Dirty Mother Truckers.
There you go. Oh,
Worst name ever, but
Look at you.
Diction on it.
it'll be on right after the Diesel Brothers.
What channel is that?
Discovery.
Discovery Channel?
Discovery.
Discovery, Memorial Day weekend, it'll be on there.
Seriously,
Well,
that's
real.
true.
We'll have to
Premieres
watch.
Memorial Day weekend.
We knew him when.
Exactly.
I don't know all the particulars.
I'm not even
Thank you,
allowed to
Matt.
yet.
Thank you.
I just leaked it.
You're not allowed to?
Yeah, I leaked it.
Let's leave the camera on.
Yeah.
What do we,
Thank you, guys.
Huh?
hope everybody's there.
Yeah,
You get the original application, right?
yes, she has all that.
Minutes?
Minutes? Is it minutes?
Or where are we?
Well, we voted to approve that, but we didn't sign that.
I thought you signed everything.
I don't know, is everything there?
Let's see.
Did you wanna wait until we get the stuff tomorrow or
Yeah,
whatever?
I
Yeah.
just don't wanna be
That's
fast
fine.
with them.
That's fine.
We signed that.
Yeah,
We
that
didn't
one-
sign
Yeah.
we didn't sign the other one. This is
Oh,
what
you
he's
didn't?
talking about.
No, we're gonna wait till we get all the other
Okay.
stuff in, and then we can sign.
Okay.
And we need to put the note in there that they need to get the inspection prior to the event.
Oh, on that application down where we sign, yeah.
Yeah, condition. Okay. Now all I can do is remember all that when July rolls around. Okay, yes, minutes. Thank you.
Oops, no, sorry. Two for you and one for you.
Did we just sign the extensions or did we make motions to extend?
I think you had already done it the meeting, I wasn't here,
Had we, and then we just.
And then you had to sign.
Oh, and then you did the
Yes,
contract, got
yeah.
it, got it, okay.
cause I wasn't here then.
Alright.
That should be fine. Yeah. I'm telling you. I'm done.
So you're set.
With the diamonds on.
Make a motion to accept the Thursday, April 25th, 2019 minutes as written.
Second it?
All in favor? Wow. Not even.
Did it go in? Rebound. Something on the floor, that must be mine.
Is that BP? Is that BP?
Oh, nope, that's payroll.
Okay.
Yep.
It's 30 something.
Okay, this, excuse me, this week's AP warrant was for $30,939.73. Let's see. And you're up again.
That top one is for the same person, but there's two requests.
Same person?
Mhm.
Don't recognize him.
Forgot to include that day.
Okay, time off request for Lynn, May 28th, 30th, and 31st.
So the whole week, cause you're, the Monday's a holiday.
Right. Have to get it in before Stacy leaves.
That way we're
So
down.
that's my only, that's actually, or not, that was my only thought.
Well,
What do
I
we do if she goes early?
already talked to her that I would come in and do payroll.
Alright.
Yeah, cause that's, yeah, I would come in and do payroll.
Just gotta have time off.
Just one time, no, you can't come early, that's all.
I told her that actually.
You know,
I'm like,
we gotta lock her in there until you're back.
Go down to,
No, I mean, the Tuesday, Jackie's off, Val does 2:30, so I don't know if that means, I think she's off at 2:30. But again, Stacy should be here, so it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking we don't really have anything for that next week. So yeah, we'll be on our own, but we can manage.
that was in,
I have a grandchild coming. Oh, you do? Oh, I didn't. To visit. Oh, yeah, to visit.
and time off request for Stacy, May 10th, Friday, she's coming in late that day. Should be, coming in late, doctor appointment is at 8:15, so. Should be fine. Oops, turn that sign on. Motion to printing of the town reports, talked about this last week. The total cost would be $1,034.
That's for 500, right?
550.
50. Sure. And we'll give them a try, right?
Okay. Making a motion to do that?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Yeah, it must be for,
The festival.
I was gonna say, it doesn't say that, but I'm guessing it
I
was
think
for,
it's under here. Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
okay. And this is for the festival as well, banner and signs.
motion to sign? Okay.
We did the first one because we talked about it last week.
Okay.
This is a public hearing notice, Town of Lebanon, Maine. Notice is hereby given that the municipal officers of the Town of Lebanon will hold an informational public hearing on Wednesday, May 15th, 2019 at 6:30 PM at the Lebanon Town Office.
No,
Yeah, ooh, yeah, you're right.
it's at the Lebanon Elementary School.
Okay.
We're in said town to hear public comment on the following. Town election Tuesday, June 11th, 2019, and the referendum warrant. Copies of the election and referendum warrant are available at the town office and on the municipal website.
Yep, so
Don't sign
she's
that.
gonna fix that first before
Okay,
we sign it.
I'll stop.
Okay.
And this one,
Yep,
gotta read that one?
yeah,
Oh, man. I'll be tired.
well, hey,
Congratulations, no. This is a proclamation, 50th anniversary of Municipal Clerks Week, May 5th to the 11th, 2019. Whereas the office of the municipal clerk, a time-honored vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides a professional link between the citizens, the local government bodies, and agencies of the government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality, impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas the municipal clerk continually strives to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Wherefore it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now therefore we, the Lebanon Board of Selectmen, do recognize the week of May 5th through May 11th, 2019 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Mary Beth Pardon, Deputies Val Hendrick, and Jackie Colwell, and to all municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Dated the second day of May 2019. I gather we signed the bottom?
yep. Bottle princess.
Wow,
I know.
You told me there's gonna be big words in there.
the state forgot that one. We need to write to the state, Deborah.
Needs to be part of that, cause they're the best bottle princesses in any town in the state.
And if you can just post that maybe on the website and then
Okay,
each a copy so they know.
okay.
Thanks.
Okay, individuals, we'll start with you this week.
Yeah, but I may have too much stuff. We'll start with that stuff.
What are we looking at, the newsletter?
Sure, you have your hand, sure,
Yes.
I'll go with that one first.
That's the mailing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Newsletter mailing.
So, here's,
You already called that one, it's supposed to be 3.
It's supposed to be 3.
I deleted the fourth one, but I didn't get rid of
know.
the word,
3,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
3, okay. Is that June 7th date correct? And the May
Is it a
14th
Thursday?
above it?
Is it,
June 7th is a Friday.
then it's not correct. It's the Thursday.
So it's June 6th?
Yeah.
That's the Thursday, okay. And then the May 14th?
What day is that?
Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday.
Then it's probably the Monday. We'd have to ask her though, but I assume it would be the Monday. Cause we should have them by then, but you need to ask her.
Is she still here or is she gone?
She left, I think.
I think the 13th, it's a Monday, so. And they're shipping them now, I mean, most places, so.
Okay. So that's that, did we, so I was just gonna work my way down through
Yeah.
them, so, so one, again, I put that in, are we okay with number one, what's there?
What is it?
3,
Referendum number 1.
3, we're okay?
No, we're doing a newsletter that we're gonna mail out with
You'll get a copy of
explanations.
this, as every resident will get a copy of
Yeah.
this. 3,
Yeah, I mean, I that's hard to explain, so, I think, but anyway.
Yeah.
Next one was 5,
Yeah,
right, and that was based on Paul's recommendation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
6. I think that was kind of both of you that
Yeah.
helped with that.
Yeah.
Does that work for everybody, number
Yeah.
6 now? The way that's worded?
yeah,
Alright. 7, and all the numbers I did check, so all the numbers I went through, I did the expense report and got all the numbers to make
that'd
sure,
be good.
so. 8, I put that in there. So that's done. Next one, number 11. Do we wanna do anything there?
Is that what those 3 X's
That's
are?
right, it's in case I need to, I did that as a placeholder in case we wanna do anything or
What
not.
are we gonna say? I mean, it's the worst job in town. I don't know, it is,
Or we just don't. Like last year, we didn't do anything, it was.
yeah,
We just left it, but that's why I put that there, so at least we could
I'm like, what are the X's for?
consciously
Yeah.
make that decision.
No, I'd leave it.
Okay. 15. So you had the last sentence removed is in yours, Paul. I didn't because that's part of the reason that Jen's hours increasing is because the planning board is doing site plan review. We don't wanna put that in there?
Well, the way it makes it sound, like the whole budget increased for that one reason, and that's not true.
Correct. I mean, it was wages, I mean, most of the increase was wages. But the biggest wage increase was hers because of the additional hours.
Budget increase. Yeah, I just,
That's fine, I mean, if you guys
I find it-
want to remove, that's fine. I mean,
no, I'm just trying to think of a different way to word that, so, I mean, it's not a bad statement, it's just that it's not the sole purpose, I guess that's what I'm
Right.
trying to say.
Didn't training go up too in that department? In
I
that,
don't know.
We lowered one and raised the other on the training.
I think training did go up because we went up on appeals board, which
Yeah.
is part of that.
I thought we lowered the planning board to raise the.
We might have, so I'm not sure, I'm not
well,
100% positive.
can we just look at that maybe? If you have it handy. No.
We went up a hair and dues and subscriptions, like $215. We went up by $250 in equipment. Supplies, we went down by $750. And then travel, we went up. Staff development. Codes, planning went down. appeals went up, so actually training was a net negative of $500. But travel went up. A lot.
Yeah.
Because he's traveling.
Right.
Go to 202.
Just can't let it go.
Nope.
What was it last year, the whole complete thing? Can you just,
Whole, what, the whole budget?
yeah,
95,601, I think if I got it right. That went up by roughly 14,000. So 14%,
how much was did the clerks go up?
72%, if you want it by percentage, it went up by $9,555. And that does not include the payroll taxes,
Okay,
so that's the biggest portion of that raise.
Well, let's take out due to increase and just say budget increase includes planning board work and site review.
So you wanna do it?
what did you say?
Budget increase includes planning board work with site review.
Budget increase?
Include, so get rid of the due to increase, and just, budget increase includes planning board work with site review.
Yeah.
Alright. And
17, oh, you did that, okay, I just,
17,
yeah,
yep, I did that in there, I didn't highlight
I
it,
just
but
thought
yeah,
that
I
was
did
important.
add that in, yep. 20, road study part, we're okay with that?
the what?
Road study part, number 20?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Next page, I had nothing, right? I think next page was,
so, on 23, so this number is now this,
that's the correct number,
okay,
23, yeah.
okay,
Yeah, the revenue number, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep, and then, that's it, I think. Do you wanna look at your, that's what you gave me, you okay with that?
Fine.
yeah, that's fine,
So exception of those couple of changes, we're good on that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make those in the morning and I'll get it to you in the morning,
Okay.
I'll be here in the morning.
I'll just put the high grade.
So that's that. So next is the selectmen's section of the town report. You should have gotten a revised one, which Paul has already seen, so he's okay with it. I think it's gonna address some of your concerns.
Is that the only part you changed, the top part?
No, I think I changed a little bit in the number, in the second paragraph.
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yeah. It's because you're a good delegator.
He's a good writer.
He is.
Trust me, a lot of it's kind of cutting and pasting and. The road section I didn't change, and I think I made a couple of changes in the last paragraph.
That's good,
Okay?
Yeah.
You guys all good? Alright. So I'll get that to you in the morning too.
okay.
What else I have? That's that. That. Oh, Paul and I went down 2 weeks ago now because I was gonna tell you last week or whatever, but you weren't here.
I was here last week.
No, it was some day that you weren't here. It was that
Oh.
Tuesday meeting maybe? No, it was when you were sick on, so you went home.
Oh, yes.
Whatever that, was that,
Yes.
whatever. So Champion Street, they're, the DOT, Maine DOT and New Hampshire are redoing that whole railroad crossing.
Oh,
So they're putting drainage in and stuff, and so the middle stop sign, I guess?
Yeah.
That's going away.
oh,
They're gonna cut some of the pavement out to bring Champion further out before the intersection.
it's
So-
kind of a weird
Yeah,
intersection.
so they're trying to help that as well.
Yeah,
So they're gonna do work, and so that's gonna be down to one lane, while they do it, because they gotta, they're doing the crossing and everything else. So, that'll be done in the fall.
awesome,
So,
that's good.
so they just, we're hoping that they got a bunch of material they're gonna have to dig out. So we're hoping that they can maybe just kind of put it in the big hole that's in the parking lot for that little park that we have.
Yeah,
So I still haven't seen anything from, have you seen
I was
anything?
just gonna ask you if you saw them, I haven't seen
No,
anything.
they haven't sent a word, so I'll reach out to them tomorrow to see where they stand. They were gonna send us something, to sign off or whatever, and we never,
okay, good.
so, but that's where that project stands, so. Also, the first Monday, was this was actually in April, I guess. The planning board meeting I went to in April, maybe it was the middle one, maybe there was one in the middle of the month or whatever. They had talked about an engineer, and so I had thought it might be good, just like we have a town attorney, to have a town engineer. There's lots of times that it's addressed, talking about the town engineer. And to get one that's a civil engineer, that does a lot of things. So that if the planning board needs to reach out to an engineer, they have one on speed dial, more or less, that we already have some sort of an agreement with. Whatever the agreed our rates, I mean, they're representing us. You never know, we may have another project that we want them to look at. It would be nice to have one that you can go to fairly handily. So I thought it might be worth putting out some sort of a bid request. Just kind of like you would a town attorney, for a town engineer. You'd want it to be a fairly robust shop that does a bunch of different engineering stuff. So that, because again, it's whatever we might need. But I mean, we could have a municipal building that's got a problem that we want to have an engineer look at. So it might be a structural engineer versus a road engineer, or, you know what I'm saying, that we might want some consultation work as well. So it may make sense to have one that's gonna cover anything that we, not that we need anything, but it's nice to have, and it's nice for the planning board that they have a person that they can reach out to.
Yeah,
And again, it's expertise for the planning board.
Yeah.
Planning board really isn't necessarily paying for that, because that's gonna come out of the development of whatever the development there is. But we were talking about like site plan review, site distances, when you come into a road. Well, who goes down and checks out to make sure the site distances are correct? They could ask the road commissioner, but is the road commissioner really qualified to be doing site distances? I'm not sure he is.
Or she.
Or she, you know what I'm saying? So versus that might be something that might be better off to have an engineer go take a look at and charge accordingly. So, whatever the planning board thinks, they wanna do, so. I just thought that, whether we do that now or whether the next board does that, I just thought that maybe made sense.
Yeah,
That the town
I
take a
think
look at
it
doing
does.
that. Two things, the county, the county tax came in, well, I have an advanced look because I'm on the budget committee. And so it looks like what we put down for a budget was lower. It's it's currently gonna be 297, if everything goes according to plan, 297, 714. And I think we had like 302 or something like that in the budget, so it didn't go up quite as much. Interestingly enough though, and this is actually what drew my attention, and I had a call to John. So they show our state valuation as 572 million and change. Which is interesting because the way the state does it, the way the state does valuations, they do it based on 2000. So the number that they use for 2019 is actually based on the 2017 real data.
Oh,
So that's, and 2017, what we put down was 493. So you're talking 85,000 more that the state
did
is
they
saying.
add a percentage? I mean, where'd they get the figure from?
Well, so that's where the assessed ratios are, so that's where the 86% ratio comes into play. So when they do their sales studies, and they say, so they're saying that we're only at 86%. So that's why those numbers are higher, so, for example, for residential lots, they're showing, we assessed it at 89 million, and they're doing it at 103 million and change. Residential buildings, we're doing it 269 million versus 313 million. So you can see the differences, that's how they get it. And that's because they're using 86%. So they basically divide it by 86 and it gives you that higher number. So they're saying that's what it should be, even though we're not doing it. And so that's what, so basically in that number is also used in the school, 50%. Now the school uses an average, but it's still an average number of numbers that are higher than what we're assessing here. So again, as we get further and further away from the right value, you can see that it hurts us. Because, I mean, is that true value? Maybe it is, but we're not seeing we're not seeing the property tax revenues from a valuation like that. So when it goes up like that, everybody is paying that additional taxes from that higher amount. So I thought that was interesting that that's another impact of where that is. So I've done some more investigation. So let's see, make sure. So on the trust accounts, so trying to go backwards as much as I could.
Yeah.
This is kind of the spreadsheet I've come up with so far. But I also found, or actually Stacy found, back in February of 2014, so when the sale of the assets went in, they went into the general government fund. So when the sale to CMP happened,
I
that
think you said that, you thought.
20,500 went into the general government fund. But in Trio, it was then moved. So that's where in Trio it gets booked into they booked into the general government. And then it looks like on the 25th of February of that year, they moved it to, in Trio, they moved it to the Shapley Trust. So the easiest thing to do is and this seems to be the simplest analogy, think of Trio as the checkbook, and think of as the bank as the bank. So if you move money from your checking account to your savings account in your checkbook, you probably ought to do the same thing at the bank. And that's why when you reconcile, the numbers should match. So while it was moved in Trio, it was never moved in the bank. So the bank account, which is the Shapley Trust, that savings account, so to speak, never got the money in it. So the town still owes the Shapley Trust $28,500 plus interest. So, so the selectmen, it looks like, or directed whatever, it to go correctly, but somehow it never got moved in the bank. Again, we're dealing with reconciliations right now, and the correct way to do reconciliations. Because again, if you're looking at balances, that would have picked it up. Your balance is short on this one and your balance is too high over here. You go back, you figure out, that's why we never transferred, and then you would have. But that wasn't happening, and I'm not sure it has been happening. So, for quite a few years. So, I think the reconciliations have been the checks being written and the deposits being made, making sure all those match, but nobody's really looking at the balances. And so when you have interest and when you have things like this, you're not gonna pick those up. So again, it's the easiest analogy I have is think of Trio as your checkbook, your register, and think of the bank as the bank, and so. So we need to at some point address that, moving that over to the Shapley Trust. So that's that. Again, I'm still working on spreadsheets so that we can try to reconcile and do all that kind of stuff. While I was doing that, and this, I'm moving fairly quickly because I know we're on a schedule.
Yeah,
I noticed, in going back, I noticed that prior to 2014, we were with Key Bank. And I believe we were with Key Private Bank for managing trust assets. So they were, because I remember seeing stuff, even way back in the 50s and the 60s, we were in treasury bonds and Fannie Mae's and Freddie Mac's and safe fixed income stuff, earning decent interest. I don't know exactly what they were earning at Key Bank Private Bank when they were doing it, but when they moved, that went away. When they moved to Kennybunk Savings, they were no longer being invested, they're just sitting in a savings account or checking account or whatever, earning 0.1% or whatever it was earning. If I had to guess, back in knowing what happened in knowing what things we're doing in 14, interest rates were very, very low. And if they're using fairly short-term stuff to put it in, they probably weren't making a lot of interest. And they're probably paying private bank probably too much of a fee, and they probably felt it wasn't worth it, would be my guess. But again, I don't know, I'm just trying to make a guess.
Right.
There's ways that you can do things without needing an advisor, that are fairly simple, that are fairly not complicated, that I think the treasurer can handle, that still invest the funds conservatively, but give you a much better interest rate. And so one of those is what's called a bond ladder. And so that's what I gave you. In the essence of time, I can defer this to the next meeting and go over this.
That's probably a good idea.
In more detail. But essentially it's, the town can open up their own account like Schwab. And you can do online trading and you can basically we're not buying stocks. It's a matter of you're buying bonds. This is a bond strategy, but you're gonna get a better interest rate. It's a pretty secure interest rate. You're using corporate bonds, so you're using, and they're what they call investment grade bonds. So you're investing in companies like General Electric, Apple, solid companies, and you're not for a long-term period of time. So you're gonna get, and so doing this, you're gonna get close to 3%, if not right now, a little bit more than 3% at the current, where we're currently at, which is a hell of a lot better than 0.1 or 0.2 that we're getting now. Because the other thing, a lot of times banks do not give you much interest rates, because a regular bank is a profit institution. Unlike a credit union that's a nonprofit, basically, or not really nonprofit, but it's their own shareholders. And so the profits go back to the owners, basically the shareholders. So you find a lot of times interest rates are lower. It's also that it's a corporation, it's an organization, so those rates are always lower. I don't know why, in banks they are, but they are than an individual rate than what they are for individuals. But this strategy would only be for the Shapley Fund, only things that you don't touch the principal. So you're talking about the Shapley Fund, you're talking about the Burroughs Poor Fund, and you're talking about the cemetery perpetual care funds. So the escrow would not go into here, because escrow, you could have money going in and out all the time. And that doesn't make sense, so, but I'll go through the strategy. I've already talked about this with Stacy. So she has a decent feel for it, so, doesn't think it's too complicated. So anyways, so that's that. I'm done.
Okay, because we have got scheduled executive sessions, I'd like to in tonight's, or delay the endings of tonight's meeting till after we complete the executive sessions. A motion to do so.
A motion to what, go into executive session?
Yes, we'll pick up afterwards, which will be probably about 8:30.
Okay, I make a motion, we go into executive session pursuant to MRSA 14056A for alpha.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
You'll be returning for the public afterwards, huh?
Yes, right around 8.